Hello, this is Bill Todd. I just wanted to give you a very quick overview of our first two email campaigns to the potential members of the Alumni Association. Now, just a bit of a reminder from our last conversation, our last conference call. When you're reaching out to a group of individuals and you want them to take action, you want them to join the association, and in our case, then pay money, we have to be prepared that this won't happen right away. You're going to have to touch them between 8 and 11 times before the momentum begins to build and the memberships start coming in. And by touching them, I mean email, phone calls, letters, talking one-on-one at the alumni luncheon over T-Day weekend. But we've got to be prepared. It's going to take 8 to 11 times before we're going to start to see real momentum building up, but it will happen. And once it does, things will begin to move very quickly thereafter. More than money, more than dues, what we need now are email addresses. The email address lists from Pi Kappa Alpha National Headquarters in Transylvania, to be honest with you, these institutions don't have the time and resources to constantly keep up with the change. So although there's a lot of alumni, we only had 235 clean email addresses when we began the process. Now, this weekend, I was able to work with the software system and I added 65 additional email addresses to this list. So we're going to be just above 300 for our next email campaign. This Saturday night, I also posted on Facebook in the Kappa Chapters fan page on Facebook. I'm asking the guys to please send in their email addresses, but more importantly, take the link that I provided them and email it to their buddies and say, hey, 10 friends, 15 friends, 20 friends, go to this page, provide your current contact information, and of course, there's always a link to join the association. Now, going forward, one of the things we have to religiously do is make sure that we encourage the alumni when they get an email from us to send it to their 15 or 20 buddies whose email addresses they have. We're going to also ask them to simultaneously copy us on that email address because when they send it out to 15 of their buddies, we're going to instantly get those 15 email addresses. We're not going to have to wait for their friends to go online and fill in the forms to give us their information. So this is going to be as important as raising funds because, of course, you can't raise funds if you don't raise the size of the base that you're soliciting. Now, in any kind of direct email campaign, when you're asking people to read the email and then take an action, you should be ecstatic if you get between 3 and 5% response rate. That means that they actually open the email and read it. We belong to a group called affinity groups. Okay, everybody who gets our email knows us. They've heard of us. So they're more likely to open than a traditional business email campaign. Affinity groups open up those emails at a rate of about 16%. So if you send out 116 will get open. The Pike Alumni Association did fantastic. We should be write articles about us. We went out to, remember, 235 original recipients. Of that group, almost 60% opened and read their emails. Of that group, the 235, 55 clicked. They went over to either provide us their name and information or, as Charlie and Mark Lamont will report to us in our next phone conversation, they join the association. These are really encouraging email statistics. And let me warn you, though, that every time the emails go out, these numbers begin to go down because people now understand who it's from and they get very busy and we kind of get delegated to I'll get to these guys when I can. So don't get used to these numbers because they won't be this good the next time out. But let's look at our second campaign that went out right before New Year's. Same number, 235. We only dropped to a 50% open rate, but hey, 50%, that's fantastic. We had 24 people click through as a result of this email. One Pike unsubscribed, doesn't want to hear from us again. That's okay. And one bounced. And I'm almost certain that that was because their email address was, their email inbox was overwhelmed. because they were away on vacation. But from here on in, we have got to be monomaniacs when it comes to getting email addresses, because you have to have the contact information before the funds come in. But all in all, a really nice effort for our first two campaigns. From here on in, I'm going to advise that we schedule these emails and Facebook postings for about once every 3 weeks. We don't really want to overwhelm these guys or become a little bit of an intrusion into their busy days. We're going to go back and forth. Facebook is the only social media platform right now I would recommend we use. That's because the Kappa chapter has a page. But more importantly, Facebook is the only group that can allow us to send a message to our alumni and not have anyone else see it. And better yet, there's a whole lot of old pikes that we don't have email addresses for, but we do have their phone numbers. Well, guess what? Facebook is the only social media platform that will allow you to give them just phone numbers, and they will determine if those phone numbers join Facebook. And if they join Facebook, we can begin to talk to these people directly through Facebook. So we're using two platforms right now, email and Facebook. And right now the results are good. As we begin to roll on, add additional things like postcard mailings and etc. But I just wanted to give you the good news. So far, so good. We got to keep it up, and we got to keep those email addresses coming in. Thanks for your attention for this short time period, and I'm looking forward to our next meeting.